Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome, Alison Kerr Empowerment Path. I wanted to share some advice or information that I've learned about communication to help you to communicate with your highly sensitive child. And so, one of the first things that I would mention is direct communication, sitting face to face. We probably, certain people have learned this anyway, sitting over a table. There's all sorts of power dynamics, and people use them in business to have the upper hand or make somebody else feel less comfortable or different things like that. And for highly sensitive people, direct sitting facing each other can be quite difficult. I have always found for myself that where my daughter has been most likely to open up and talk to me, and I mean proper connectedness, not the usual everyday, have you done this, have you done that, what are you doing, just the general chit chat. I mean, opening up a space and creating a space for them to open up and let you know what's really going on with them. Where I found this happened automatically, and then when I became aware of it, I was able to make more opportunities for this, and that was in the car. And that was the two of us sitting side by side, moving forward. And automatically, then, that's relieved a lot of the pressure. And it just seemed to be on that drive. And yeah, to be honest, we probably would be driving through the countryside or heading somewhere. So that might have played a part in it. But I do remember somebody years ago had told me that if you have a dispute with somebody or you're going to have need to have a difficult conversation with somebody, and in this case, it was a partner, he had suggested go for a walk. And that's the same thing. It's not sitting across a dinner table or whatever else. It's walking side by side, heading in the same direction, and it diffuses things, it changes the energy of it, and can just make it a more conducive setting for a less defensive communication. Another thing that I wanted to share was, and what I would say before I jump on is, be aware, create these opportunities, find what works for you. So for my sister, with one of her highly sensitive sons, she kind of joked about it. He was obviously a bit older, so that's different. But it reached an age where he could have a beer. And all it took was one beer or two beers for him to then open up about something that he'd been holding for a very long time. And once his mother knew, then she was able to talk to him, to support him, etc. So, and I'm not saying that's the way. I'm just saying be aware, become aware of what kind of settings are they more comfortable that this kind of information comes out. And another thing actually that's coming into my head now is when my daughter was younger, we always did bedtime stories. And she would snuggle up in my bed before bed and we'd do the stories. And often when she wanted to talk to me or open up was just when it was bedtime. So that was a bit frustrating when you're wanting to get them to bed. However, if you recognize that, start your story a wee bit earlier to allow that space. That also takes me on to another thing. Children will speak to you when it suits them, not necessarily when it suits you. And if we shut them down because it doesn't suit us at the time, which we might have to do sometimes, then that opportunity may or may not come up again. So if you're really working hard to keep that connection going in order to fully support your child, then just be aware of because I can be terrible for getting focused on, I want to get this task done, I want to get that task done, and I don't like being interrupted in tasks, and that is part of my neurodiversity, because we can find it hard to shift focus or to shift back in, and it can be quite irritating. And yet, when you're being, I would suggest when you're being interrupted, for them to talk to you wherever possible, instead of it being an automatic reaction of, no, I'm in the middle of this, I can't talk to you right now. Be aware that you may not get that opportunity for that particular conversation again. And obviously being as available to them as we are able to be is going to offer them the most support that we can. So ask yourself, is this an immediate jerk reaction of, there's not actually any reason why I can't stop for 2 minutes right now? Helps that, and if it is because you don't have the time, then that's fine. And then maybe you can say, I'd love to hear what you've got to say. However, I've not got, we can't do it right now because, and give them the reason. Can you hold on to that thought, and can we have this conversation later on? So you can try that. You're not always going to be available. I'm not suggesting that. But where you have the possibility to be available to them, take that time. Keeping that communication going, really, really important, because nobody's going to support your sensitive child more than you are. A couple of phrases I learned in my neuro-linguistic programming training, which are very helpful for conversations, are because, and the other one is, and that means. So when they're talking to you about something and it's like, well, I don't want to go here, then you just say, because, and that helps, it's an encouragement to tell me more, tell me why. And then they might say, well, because if I do that and I get it wrong, then everybody's going to laugh at me. Or, if I do this, then I'll fail. And then just find where you can plop in that wee phrase, and that means, I don't want to go to school today because I've got such and such a teacher and we need to get up in front of the class. And okay, and that means, well, that means everybody will be looking at me. And that means if I make a mistake, everybody will laugh at me. Okay, and that means, well, and that means everybody hates me, or, that's just a ridiculous example, but look at where you can add in. I hope I'm getting the idea across. Just simply by asking because, you can try to get to the reason, and then and that means, then we can get to the meaning that they are placing on that. So that's one of the things that can help, just to get a bit more information out without it being an interrogation, because an interrogation can feel like an attack, and then an attack can cause the kind of shutdown. I know, because I've got this wrong so many times, and I still get it wrong. But a wee bit of awareness helps us to continue to try to do better. I had to pause for a second. Something had flitted into my mind and gone again, as it does with the neurodiverse brain. The other thing that popped into my head that's really important, I think, especially when they're in these dark places, these difficult emotional places, is when they are feeling as though they're stuck in this place, they're stuck in this feeling, they're either stuck in this situation. It could be having no friends, it could be feeling depressed, it could be feeling anxious. Really trying to get that message across to them that it's not forever, because they can tend to really get into that place that they feel as though nothing is ever going to change. And really trying to get that, when you notice that they're in that place, to point out when it wasn't like that before, and to let them know that it's not going to be like this forever, that everything is always a state of flow. And when they say, you know, I mean, I'm always anxious. Well, first of all, is that true? Are they always anxious? Or are there places where they're not anxious, they're actually quite comfortable? And point out to them where actually, you know, gently, in a way that doesn't seem like a criticism, or, you know, that you're contradicting them, just to allow them to see that actually it's not that they're always anxious. It might be that they're always anxious in this particular situation. This is making me think of, I heard about the Irish, and like we say, I am depressed, I am anxious, and we're really taking ownership of that and making it who we are. And I heard a phrase of the Irish saying, the depression is on me. And I loved that. You know, it made it feel as though, well, just like a jacket, the depression is on me right now, but I can take it off, or it's not here forever. It's not me. And also, when they're starting to say, nobody likes me, everybody hates me, that's a really good opportunity, again, to gently help them to see that that's not the truth. That's the way they're seeing it. So helping to shift their perception. And how to do that is just, again, to give them a wee reminder of, well, what about, and it could start with family members, or it could be one friend or one teacher. You know, no, you can't say everybody hates you. What about blah, blah? Well, yeah, I know, but everybody apart from them. But just kind of breaking it down and unpacking it. So we want to get them out of this really closed mindset of, this is me, this is who I am, this is where I'm at, and it can't change. And we want to just loosen things off a wee bit and let them to see, no, what you're seeing and feeling isn't 100% true, and just allow it to open up a wee bit where it won't feel just quite so heavy. So I hope that's helped. I welcome any comments always. Do try these techniques, and by all means, share your own in the comments. Let's really help. What tools have helped you? Where does your child open up to you? Yeah, do let me know. And any questions, as always, just ask. In the meantime, lots of love. Hang in there, even in the difficult times. And this is for all of the adults. This too shall pass. And you've got this. You can do this.